Welcome everyone to tonight's council meeting. I'm the Mayor, Councillor Virginia Tarkos. I declare this meeting open at 7:01 p.m. I would like to welcome the members of the public who have joined us in the chamber tonight and online. Members of the public attending council meetings are expected to behave respectfully at all times and not permitted to engage with councillors or council officers during the course of the meeting. This includes directing loud and inappropriate comments towards councillors and officers or making noise that impacts council's ability to conduct its meeting. All persons present tonight have the right to feel safe and treated with respect. Council will not tolerate any behaviours that threaten staff, safety, or anyone present in the chamber, or which disrupts the ability for council to conduct its business on behalf of the community. You will be asked to leave at the meeting if your behaviour is inappropriate or disruptive or rude. All members of the gallery are required to pre-register their attendance and at the council meeting to support a safe and secure environment for all participants, whilst allowing council to conduct an orderly meeting. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please follow the direction of the council officers and the emergency procedures on the wall near the door. Channel 31 has been given permission to live stream this meeting. A recording of the meeting will be published on council's website. Please stand for the acknowledgement of country. On behalf of Brimbank City Council, I respectfully acknowledge and recognise the Wurundjeri and Boonwurrung peoples as traditional custodians of this land and pay respect to their elders past, present and future. Council commitment, I ask councillors to remain standing for the council commitment. Others may be seated. As the council, we will act in the best interests of Brimbank community and consider the immediate and long-term impacts of our decisions. We will make these decisions fairly and without bias. We will uphold all our obligations under the laws of Victoria and council's local laws, and we will act in accordance with the model councillor code of conduct. Councillors, please be seated. Apologies. We have two apologies from Councillor Victoria Borg and Councillor Tui Dang that have submitted apologies for tonight's meeting. Councillors, are there any declarations of conflicts of interest tonight? There are none. Item 5, designation of items as confidential. May I have a mover of a motion to designate items as confidential? Councillor Pham.
Through the Chair, I move it per printed paper. Thank you.
Seconder. Councillor Crook.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I second as per the business papers.
Okay. I put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. Item 6 is confirmation of minutes of the previous meetings. Councillors, may I have a mover of the motion to confirm the minutes of the previous council meeting? Councillor Kerr.
I move the motion as per the shared screen.
Seconder. Councillor Trung.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm second moving.
Thank
Like
you.
on the screen.
Thank you, Councillor Trung. I'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. Item 7, condolences. There are no items of condolences this evening. Congratulations. Tonight we have 4 items of congratulations. And I'd like to start with 8.1, which is the Devonshire Pharmacy's 40th anniversary. Do I have a mover? Councillor Crook?
I move the motion as per the business papers. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Nikolic?
I'm happy to second that motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Crook, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a very quick note to thank Devonshire Pharmacy for their 40th year this year, operating here in the heart of Sunshine. I mean, how fantastic is that? You've got a business, grassroots, engaging with the community every day. I mean, those roots must be deep by now. I wanted to reminisce just on a conversation that I had a year ago with another business owner in Sunshine who said that it was quite risky for them to open a business in Sunshine, and they had many challenges and hurdles along the way. And for Devonshire Pharmacy to operate for 40 years with this kind of competition in the area and these many challenges in the area, they've done extremely well, and I'm incredibly proud of them, and this council thanks their service. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Nikolic, would you like to speak towards this motion?
Just to say congratulations as well. I have really fond memories of a little girl going to Sunshine Precinct with my mum and then finalising the shop at the end on the way home here at the Devonshire Pharmacy. So I remember all the team had friendly smiles, would always remember you by name. And then when their shop was shut, I used to go up and down the ramp with my bike. So
Nice.
congratulations. I think it's really special that they've become an institution of sunshine.
That's wonderful. Anyone else like to speak towards this motion? Councillor Bouch.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Please.
Look, I join my fellow councillors in congratulating Devonshire Pharmacy, who are celebrating their 40 years in service. Once upon a time, I used to work in a pharmacy, a long time ago. So I know how competitive the industry is, and especially during the last couple of decades, it's been dominated with consortiums entering the industry, squeezing out family businesses just like this. So congratulations again on their success, strength as a small business, and may the next 40 years bring even more happiness and success.
Thank you. Any other speakers to this motion? Okay, I will now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. 8.2, Gloven Families 20 Years of Fundraising. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Trong.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move like on the screen. Thank you.
And seconder? Councillor Kerr? Oh, sorry.
I second the congratulations as per the shared screen. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Chung, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I write today to formally acknowledge and congratulate to Gloven family on the outstanding milestone for 20 years of Jacob Day fundraising. For 2 decades, the Gloven family have shown extraordinary commitment, resilience, and generosity. Jacob Day had grown into deeply respected community tradition, one that brings people together in support, remembrance, and shared purpose. What began a personal intensive path through the relationship and the compassion become the lasting force for the good within our community. The certain impact of the Jacob Day over 20 years is the testament not only for the family dedication but also for the strong community spirit they have in pride around them. Their efforts have made a real and meaningful difference to countless lives. I attend our census appreciation and warm congratulations to the Garvin family for this remarkable achievement. Thank you for your contribution and setting such a powerful example for the community leadership and generosity. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kerr, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, just want to say that I congratulate the family on 20 years of fundraising. That is such an amazing milestone. Fundraising is such an important facet of our community, and I just want to wish them all the best in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to read some words out myself. Thank you. I would like to congratulate the Glaven family for their wonderful fundraising efforts in Brimbank. I met them at the Dynamo Soccer Club a few weeks ago. Lou Glaven and his family marked 20 years of fundraising with what's called Jacob's Day fundraiser. They have raised over $1.1 million, leaving a lasting legacy in memory of his and his wife Anna's son Jacob, who passed away at Royal Children's Hospital as a baby. This commitment to fundraising was made in the hope that Jacob's brief life would make a positive difference to other children's journeys through Royal Children's Hospital. So from the bottom of all of our hearts, thank you for your efforts. Did anyone else want to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Bouch.
Yeah, thank you. Look, I just wanted to add too. Look, I was at Royal Children's earlier this month for the Good Friday appeal. They donated 66,000 this year alone. So they're a massive charity and such a support for our community. So Like their slogan says, thank you for your participation, donation, and now it's time for celebration. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. 8.3 is Grand United Cricket Club. Do I have a mover for a motion? Councillor Trung?
Yes, I move the motion. First motion. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
And a seconder? Councillor Nguyen?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I second the motion as per the shared screen.
Thank you. Councillor Trung, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm pleased to write today to congratulate the Rand United Cricket Club on being named Victoria Community Cricket Club of the Year. The award is recognized excellent well beyond on the field perform. It reflects the club's strong leadership, inclusive culture, and ongoing commitment to grassroots sport and community participation. Rand Unit Cricket Club have long played an important role for the fostering connection, belonging, and opportunity for people of all age and background. This honor is rated to the dedication of the club, volunteer, player, coach, and supporters whose collective effort have helped reach the welcome and vibrant sporting environment. The club achievement extremely to positive pro-community sport play in the building healthy, stronger, and more connection community. I attend my congratulations to everyone involved with Grand United Cricket Club on this well-deserved recognition, and thank you for your outstanding contribution to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Trung. Councillor Nguyen?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd also like to acknowledge the fantastic achievement of the Grand United Cricket Club, who have been recognised as runner-up in Cricket Victoria's Community Cricket Club of the Year awards. Grand United is more than just a cricket club. They play a vital role in our community, creating opportunities for people of all ages and backgrounds to participate in sport, building friendships, and fostering a strong sense of belonging. Through their commitment both on and off the field, they contribute to community well-being, support local families, and help bring people together. This recognition is incredibly well-deserved, and I congratulate everyone at the club for the positive impact they continue to make in Sunshine West and across the greater Brimbank. Thank you.
Did anyone else want to speak towards this motion? I'd just like to say a few words myself. I would like to congratulate Grand United Cricket Club and just echo what's been said on being named runners-up of the Community Cricket Club of the Year for Cricket Victoria. This is a fantastic achievement and reflects the club's strong contribution to the Brimbank community. Recently, I and along with other councillors attended the celebration of their 100-year centenary, marking a century of bringing people together through sport. This is truly a grassroots club, and I congratulate everyone involved and wish the club continued success. Thank you. I put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. And the last motion of congratulations, 8.4, is Deer Park Lions Club 50th anniversary. Do I have a mover? Councillor Trung.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move like on the screen. Thank you.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bausch.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I second the motion as per shared screen.
Thank you. Councillor Trung, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to add a few words on behalf of Councillor Thuy Dan, who unfortunately can be with us this evening due to illness, but asked her sincere congratulations and thanks to be shared with Deer Park Lion Club. Councillor Dan want to acknowledge just how much the Lion Club has meant to our community over the year. To the eternity such as the Caroline Candlelight, the past of Black community garden, and ongoing support for local sporting club, the Deer Park Lion Club had brought people together and supported the families in very practical and meaningful way. This aren't just events or projects. They are moments that build connection, illusion, and community pride. I also like to speak personally. I have the pleasure to attending the 50th anniversary celebration of the Deer Park Lion Bluff last week. This was truly wonderful evening. I met many Lion members and volunteers and community guests and representatives from organizations the Bluff Foundry sponsor and supports. What's really good what really stood out of me were the warmth in the room and the genuine respect people have for the lion and the work together they do. It was clear from the story shared that the success of the Deer Park Lion Club comes from the volunteers, people who give their time, energy, and heart to support others, often without speaking recognition. Their commitment over so many years is something our community should be very proud of. On behalf of Councillor Dunn, myself, I attend our house lab. Congratulations to the Deer Park Lion Club on reaching the irreachable 50-year milestone. On sincerely thank for all members and volunteers, and past and present, for the wonderful job they have done and continue to do for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bausch.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. And look, I join in my fellow councillor, Councillor Trung, in congratulating 50 years of the Lions Club in Deer Park. The Lions Club are a volunteer organisation that raises funds and provides community support focusing on health, youth, infrastructure and disaster relief. The club volunteers so they can fund medical research, predominantly cancer and diabetes, support local community projects and aid in disaster recovery. I actually had absolute pleasure to meet the president and other officials at the club, pretty much just down next door, when they had the Brimbank City Council Men's Health Project earlier this month. So happy 50th anniversary and all the success in the near future.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to this motion? I put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. Item 9 is public question time. Councillors, there are no public questions for tonight's meeting. Item 10, petitions. There are no petitions to be received this evening. Item 11, minutes and reports of delegated committees. There are no minutes of delegated committees. Councillors, we move to item 12, which is officer reports. There are 13 officer reports for consideration by Council tonight. If you have your own motions this evening, you must draft these motions and provide them to governance team via email so then we may be able to share them on screen and form part of the meeting. Otherwise, we may have to defer the matter until the motion has been written, allowing meeting to proceed uninterrupted. 12.1 is the Brimbank Council Draft Annual Action Plan, Budget 26-27. I'll hand over to Georgie Hill and Marcelo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Local Government Act requires Council to develop a 4-year council plan following a municipal election. To ensure the progress of the strategic directions outlined in the plan, the annual action plan and budget is developed and monitored each year. In this report, Council is asked to note the diverse and complex strategic financial challenges facing Council and that the budget has been developed within Council's objective of being financially sustainable. Note the potential financial risks associated with the fuel market volatility and economic uncertainty, which may result in cost pressures and require future budget adjustments if sustained. Endorse the draft annual action plan and budget 26-27 as attachment 1 to the report, and receive a further report outlining community consultation and the final draft for adoption at the June council meeting. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Did Marcelo? Okay, thank you. Councillors, I'm just going to do a brief introduction tonight. Along with my fellow councillors, I'm proud to present that Brimbank's draft annual action plan and budget for 26-27. This is the second year of delivering our We Are Brimbank Council plan, and it reflects what we've heard from our community, and that is a strong desire for a city that is inclusive, connected, and full of opportunity. In the coming year, Council will invest more than $298 million into services, into programs and infrastructure that support our growing community. A big focus of this budget is community wellbeing and connection. We'll continue to invest in programs that bring people together through our neighbourhood houses, our libraries, and our community initiatives, as well as providing targeted support for young people and families to strengthen mental health and reduce isolation. We're also continuing to support those who need it most by working with partners to address homelessness, food insecurity, and family violence, as we strive to ensure that all can access the help they need. Another key priority is helping people to stay active and healthy. We're investing in our sporting facilities, our open spaces and community programs so people of all ages and abilities can get involved, stay active, and feel connected. You'll also see continued investment in the assets you use every day, such as $23 million on road upgrades and traffic improvements, $5 million in cycle and footpath renewals, ongoing upgrades to parks, playgrounds, and local facilities across Brimbank. We're also continuing to advocate strongly for our community, including the Fix Taylor's Road campaign, where we've been calling for much needed upgrades to improve safety and connectivity for local residents. At the same time, we're planning for the future. As our city grows, we're working with the state government on a major project like the Sunshine Super Hub, the Albion Quarter, and Wominjinka Plaza. Investments that will support jobs, transport, and long-term opportunity for Brimbank. Importantly, this plan has been shaped through genuine community engagement. We've worked closely with the Brimbank Community Voice Panel to ensure we are upholding the community principles, including transparency, inclusion, and making decisions that reflect the needs and aspirations of our diverse community. We also recognise that the current environment is challenging for council and for our community as well. The fuel market volatility is creating economic uncertainty and resulting in additional cost pressures. Council will continue to monitor these impacts closely and adjust as required. Another cost pressure impacting our budget relates to changes in state government policy. For example, the landfill levy charged by the state government has risen from $132.76 per tonne in 2024-25 to $169.79 per tonne in 25-26, representing an increase of 28%. Since its introduction, Brimbank has contributed $66 million in landfill levy payments or taxes, with limited reinvestment back to our local community. With rising costs such as this and increasing demands for services, we've worked hard to balance this budget responsibly while continuing to deliver what matters most to our community. This plan includes 67 key actions that will guide our work over the next year and help deliver on our long-term vision. The voice of our community is essential in shaping these plans. This year's annual action plan budget for 26-27 will be open for public consultation from the 22nd of April to the 20th of May. Community members can provide feedback in several ways, including through Council Your Say platform and in person at our community pop-ups and events listed in the council website. They start this Friday, and I encourage you all to attend and share your thoughts. Thank you finally to everyone who has contributed ideas and feedback to date. Together we are building a proud and vibrant Brimbank that is beautiful, thriving, healthy and connected. Councillors, can I get a mover for this motion? Councillor Kerr, can I get a seconder?
I move the motion as per the shared screen.
Thank you. Councillor Bausch.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll second the motion as per shared screen. Thanks.
Would you like to speak to the motion, Councillor Kerr?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I want to say thank you for that high-level explanation. I just want to speak to this item to highlight Sometimes it's the small things that we achieve, and in my ward, it's the proposed update of the Copernicus Way Reserve within the Suburban Park Upgrade and Renewal Program. This project now hopefully is progressing to the detailed design phase. This is a very important step for Copernicus Ward and our community. For many residents, this reserve is more than open space. It is a place where families gather, children play, and neighbours connect. I've heard directly from local residents how much this space matters to them and how strongly they support its improvement. This is a clear expectation that this upgrade will create a safe, welcoming, and functional environment for people of all ages and all abilities. This stage of detailed design is critical. It allows us to carefully consider community feedback, ensure the design reflects local needs, and plan for a high quality outcome when construction is funded in future budgets. So I just wanted to highlight that, you know, sometimes we get focused on the big picture, but sometimes it's these little small pocket parks in the middle of our wards that mean the world to our community. So thank you to the officers.
Thank you. Councillor Bausch.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, I echo the Deputy Mayor on concerns with this draft. Look, I endorse these action plans and eagerly await for these plans to go out for consultation to our community for subsequent feedback. These plans are in draft form and are a fundamental aspect to our council's operation to help guide our strategic roadmap and actions to ensure our council continues to operate in a sustainable manner in the short, medium and long term. We currently face very difficult financial challenges through rate capping, cost shifting, rising costs, high service demands, with increased population growth and environmental challenges. And as the Mayor stated prior, the increased cost of waste management is a massive concern. The levies for landfills have drastically increased, which now it's pretty much passed on to us, the council. For example, the landfill levy has increased 27.9% last year, and it's actually tripled since nearly tripled since 2017. And on top of that, the state shafted us again. The state dumped the emergency services and volunteers fund on council rates, in addition to, I guess, attempt to masquerade their cost of, tax increase. Cost shifting is hurting council. The financial assistance grants, a grant to council used to be 1% of federal tax. Now it's nearly half of that at 0.51. So we've lost half our funding there. Other examples include the MCH, which is the maternal child health, and libraries, which used to be a 50-50 split with state and local government. Now it's 80-20, so that interprets to a 30% increase in costs that's shifted to council. But call it whatever you want. You can handball it, cost shifting. It's quite hard, and at the same time, council has to continue with the rate caps. So on the contrary, these action plans aim to create financial stability with a focus on value for money for residents and the best community outcomes. Even with the budget restraints, we always look out for the community, and some of the examples are, even in my ward, 29.4 million on roads and drainage upgrades. In my ward of Mount Derrimut, 1.34 million will be spent on Australis Drive in Derrimut, nearly 1.1 million in Windsor Boulevard in Derrimut, and nearly $500,000 at Edward Street and Deer Park, just to name a few. In addition, nearly $16 million worth of improvements to community facilities like sports and early learning facilities, $5 million on playgrounds, 1.8 million on cycling paths, and walking and cycling paths would make more connectivity for our city, and 1.7 million on assets, including 883,000 for library books. They're just to name some. So I condemn and endorse these 4 plans, but also eagerly anticipate the feedback from our community, which will be launching shortly on Friday. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Trung.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm happy to speak in favor of the draft annual action plan and budget for 2026-2027. In the past year, we have connected more with diverse communities through the social inclusion and culturally responsive program. We have taken strong action on illegal rabbit dumpling by increased cleaning up effort and improvement waste service to protect our neighborhood. Support our local economy by focusing on business development to attract small business and reach the local job. Investing in community pride with cultural events, community friends, and programs that celebrate the diversity of Brimbank. This year, Action Plan continue to focus on this priority. The plan includes the actions to improve community safety through the partnership that enhance safety in public space and coordinates response to homelessness, to support older people, families, and people with disability with inclusive program and target community program, to address challenges like family violence through the prevention, partnership, and community education. Looking ahead, we will respond to new priorities such as expanding youth program and engagement, advocating for affordable childcare, working with partners to push for more affordable emergency housing, especially for those facing family violence. I invite the community to review the plan and share your valuable feedback during the upcoming community consultation. Together, this action will help us reach a practical, open plan for build a safe, more exclusive, and thriving for Brimbank. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to this motion? Councillor Nikolic.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And just to share some of the highlights for the Delahaye ward, I've mainly heard from residents that equally environment and roads have been very important to them. To quote a resident that visits the Delahaye Emerald Park, he said to me that it's small, but there's simple ways that we can make it useful. And I agree in terms of making it a gathering space for those local residents, a place where they can do recreation or perhaps come together for a barbecue. So I'm really pleased that the Emerald Park is due in this budget for upgrade and renewal. I've equally had many residents that come off the train station from Water Gardens late at night. It's dark, as we know, with daylight savings, and they're going through the Charles Court Laneway in Sydenham, just off Peck's Road. Usually it's a hot spot for dumped rubbish as well, but I know council have that and it's gotten better in terms of the cleanup. But I'm really pleased that we have lighting on there. I know one resident recently shared with me that for 8 years he's been trying to raise this and lodge it as an issue. So I'm pleased to have that we've taken this on board for the budget. Road rehab as well. There's Hume Drive, the section between Rosehedge to Kings Road, will be up on that agenda. On Dalloway, which is the whole length, and then Sydenham Road as well, which we know is very, very busy from the car park to the roundabout, will be part of that program as well. So I will be at the front of Mecca for Friday's community consultation. So grab your beauty look box and come and have a chat with us while you're there.
Already picked mine. Thank you very much, Councillor Nikolic. Anyone else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Farm.
To the chair, I just want to speak in favor of this draft annual action plan and budget. As going through this draft plan, I can see that the anonymous amount of work that council actually doing and trying to do in the future for our community, take into account that many difficulties regarding rate capping and the growing access by the increasing access renewal obligation and the impact of climate emergency. And moreover, recently the financial risk associations with fuel price as well. I do want to say that no matter how much we do, it might be still frustration in communities waiting for things to be done. But rest assured that we are trying our best, and also we want to listen to community voice and opinion on our consultation days. So hopefully we'll get more of the idea that what community want us to do in the future, to be able to serve the community better. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Okay. I will put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. 12.2 Planning Activity Update and Delegate Decisions and Planning Scheme Amendments Update March 26. I'll hand over to Director Walsh.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The purpose of this report is to provide Council with a status of planning permit applications and trends in relation to planning approvals in the City of Brimbank, and also to provide you line of sight to decisions made under delegated authority during the month of March of this year. And also to provide you an update on any planning scheme amendments as at the 31st of March 2026. Officers recommend that Council note the activity update and decisions made, which includes the attachments, and also note the planning scheme amendment summary at attachment 3. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillors, are there any questions to the Director about this report? Okay, can I have a mover for this report? Councillor Crook.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the report as per the shared screen.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder, please, for the report? Councillor Nguyen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I second the report as per the shared screen.
Councillor Crook, would you like to speak to the report?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Nguyen, would you like to speak to the report?
No, thank you.
Would anyone like to speak to the report? I put the report to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. Item 12.3 is Planning and Building Compliance Activity Update, 1st of January to the 31st of March 26. I hand over to Director Walsh.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The purpose of this report is for Council to be provided with an understanding of our planning and building compliance activity for the period you mentioned, and officers recommend that Council notes that activity as detailed in the report. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions to Director Walsh about this report? Can I have a mover for the report? Deputy Mayor Councillor Kerr.
I move the report as per the shared screen.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Crook.
I second the report. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Councillor Kerr, would you like to speak to the report?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Crook, would you like to speak to the report?
No, thank you.
Would anyone like to speak to the report? I put the report to the vote. All those in favour? Report carried. 12.4 Amendment C219 Brim Heritage Updates Panel Report. I hand over to Director Walsh.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Council has seen this process through its entirety. So Council has updated its heritage controls through Planning Scheme Amendment C219 Brim. And the purpose of this report is for Council to be presented with the planning panel assessment and report on the planning scheme amendment. So what we present here to Council is that report, and officers recommend that you note the planning panel's report, consider and note the officer consideration of the recommendations contained within the report, adopt the amendment and submit that amendment for final approval to the Minister, and also to write to submitters advising them of your decision. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any questions to Director Walsh about this report? Can I have a mover for this report? Councillor Crook.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the report as per business papers.
Thank you. Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Nikolic.
I second the report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Crook, would you like to speak to the report?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Nikolic, would you like to speak to the report?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone like to speak to the report? I'll put the motion then to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. 12.5 Draft Integrated Transport Strategy. I hand over to Director Walsh.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm really pleased to present to Council for consideration the draft Moving Brimbank, our integrated transport strategy. This strategy has been prepared to give guidance and direction to Council on how we want to move people, goods and services, and establish better accessibility and connectivity priorities for our community. The draft integrated transport strategy is attached and is intended to ultimately replace the Brimbank transport priorities paper. Where we're up to in the process is that this is a draft strategy that we are asking council to endorse before putting out for consultation, so that we can hear further from the community and stakeholders. So council is, the officers recommend that council endorse the draft strategy and place it for a 5-week period for community and stakeholder consultation. Following that period, you would also receive a further report summarising the feedback received. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Great. Councillors, are there any questions to Director Walsh about this report? Okay, can I have a mover for the report, please? Deputy Mayor Councillor Kerr.
I move the report as per the shared screen.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for this? Councillor Bausch.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I second the report as per shared screen.
Deputy Mayor Councillor Kerr, would you like to speak towards the report?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. This document confirms what our community has been saying for years. Public transport in Brimbank is not good enough, and the responsibility for that sits squarely with the state government. Bus services are too infrequent, too indirect, too unreliable to meet the needs of our residents. We have no tram access, despite being a municipality close to the city, and as a result, more than 80% of daily trips are made by car. This is not a choice, this is a failure of the system. In suburbs like Delahaye, Keilor Downs and Keilor, residents are being left behind. Getting to a train station should be simple, but for many, it is time-consuming, inconvenient, and in some cases, not possible without a car. This is an issue of fairness. People in Brimbank should not have fewer transport options simply because of where we live. Council is doing everything it can. We are planning, investing and advocating, but we do not control buses, trains and trams. That responsibility lies with the state government. So I want to be very clear here. Our community deserves better, and it is time for the state government to step up. We need more frequent and reliable bus services. We need better connections to train stations, and we need serious investment in public transport that reflects the growth and needs of Brimbank. This strategy gives us a strong foundation to advocate, but advocacy must be met with action. Our residents cannot wait any longer. Thank you.
Thank you. Can the seconder please speak? Councillor Bausch.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As the delegate of the Metropolitan Transport Forum Committee, myself, this draft framework provides engagement and activation to support a safer, cleaner and a more vibrant transport system. This strategy is underpinned by the 3 pillars, which is connectivity, livability and equity. But unfortunately, the draft describes key challenges around Brimbank, which is definitely true, which includes public transport options, or I guess the lack of them. Currently, only 5% of Brimbank trips are made via public transport in comparison to, say, Merribeck, same sort of distance from the city, which is approximately 3 to 4 times the amount. Now, Brimbank's population is estimated to increase by 20% by 240,000 by 2046, and 28% of the population by 2046 will be seniors. So they will require street space to adapt, support change in travel needs for all abilities and ages. Like the Deputy Mayor stated, cars are being used more than ever. More than 80% of daily trips, 87% of work trips. The average car trip is around 10 kilometres, but most of the trips are only between 1 to 5 kilometres long. The number of private vehicles registered in Brimbank homes have increased 16% between 2011 to 2021 to 135,000 cars. But in comparison, our resident population only increased by 6. That's right, 16% more cars, but the population only increased 6%. So I think there's no faith in our PT system, and it's becoming very evident that the public transport is lacking in the West. Look, in comparison, where I am in Deer Park, it's sort of the same distance to the city as Chadstone, but it's a totally different contrast when it comes to public transport infrastructure. And to give example, my family members, who some don't drive, can't even attend Mass on Sunday, where we go to St. Peter Chanel in Deer Park, as the last bus ends at 6:16 p.m. on a Sunday. Therefore, they couldn't even possibly finish Mass because the bus has already left 45 minutes ago as the Mass finishes at 7 o'clock. So this is bus route 215, Caroline Springs to High Point, and predominantly it runs on Ballarat Road, which is a major thoroughfare in Brimbank. But on Sundays, 10 buses the whole day. Saturday, just as sad, 14 bus trips the whole day, intervals around every hour, up to 67 minutes wait for a bus. Other examples, bus route 483, which passes our very own council, golf course in Keilor. Services on Saturdays, interval of 80 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes. And on Sundays, it doesn't even operate at all. Then we got bus route 423 on weekends, last bus from Brimbank Shopping Centre in Deer Park. Last bus, 6:12 on Saturdays, 6:11 on Sundays. It's just not good enough. So if it's not good enough for Bryden, then it shouldn't be good enough for Brimbank. So my point is, what's the use of free PT if there's hardly a service? It's more like a system, should I say. And the system ends before supper time or doesn't even operate at all on some days. It's just plain and simply infrastructure that Bryden would have had maybe in the 1970s, but we still have it. So let's continue to advocate for the West and stop this current infrastructure with the curfew. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to this motion? Councillor Crook.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My colleagues have already made some excellent points here, but I just wanted to point out that just reading through this strategy reminds me of a saying, if you build it, they will come, right? The car usage here is so high because there is no sustainable or integrated public transport in the area. I've just reminisced on my younger self decades ago when I used to live in an inner city suburb in West Brunswick. I actually got my driver's license late in my 20s because the public transport there was so reliable and good. I didn't need a car. Now moving out to further west, now we own 2 cars. I mean, that's the reality of it here, you know, because there is no sustainable public transport option for us to use as a family, you know. And I just wanted to point out as well, there's a key word here of integrated. Integrated so that you can take the bus and reliably get to the train station to get to the connecting train. If a train station only has 200 car parks, does that mean only 200 people can use the train because there's no other way to get there? I mean, how ludicrous is that? So the final point I'll make as well is that we're opening this up to a 5-week public consultation. So it's over to you now, the public. Please put your 2 cents in. We want to hear from you, and this will be advertised on our website. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Would anyone else like to speak to this motion? Councillor Pham.
Through the chair, I just want to echo all what been said incredibly from my fellow councillor, but also I just want to say that when you speak about transport, you speak about like moving from one place to another place, but it's not just that. It's about the connectivity. It's about livability. Like, can we live here because we have public transport support us to go from place to places, and equity. That's, you know, can we afford the transport system in here that we can live, we can buy stuff, we can visiting families, we can go to here and there without any difficulty. So with the Brimbank become the CBD of the West, is more of the question that yes, the state government invest into the Sunshine Super Hub, but then how do we go there? How we go from our house or from certain places to Sunshine? That's the question as well. It's not just polish one master plan, but then the small route that lead to that place, and then to further, suburb, that's also counted. So, all the little voice that should be heard as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to this report? I put the report to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. Okay. 12.6, Submission Sunshine Super Hub Early Designs. I hand over to Director Walsh.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The state government recently, or through VitaRail, recently released an early draft for the Sunshine Super Hub that had a requirement for a submission to be lodged by the 29th of March of this year. Given the time frame on that, council officers prepared and lodged a submission which we are now presenting to council for endorsement. We worked very hard to find the right balance with the submission to continue the advocacy agenda on council on the not only the quality, design quality and outcomes for the railway station, but also keeping in mind the long-term aspirations for Sunshine CBD, in particular around the implementation of the Sunshine Station Precinct Master Plan. So what council laws will find at attachment 1 is the submission that we lodged. The officers recommend the council notes that this project is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to deliver a landmark city-shaping transport hub for Sunshine and for the city of Brimbank. That we also ask you to commend the state government on their commitment, reconfirm council's consistent advocacy positions in relation to the full implementation of the master plan, and then welcome the opportunity for community and council to provide the feedback, which is at attachment 1, and then finally to endorse the offer submission. If council is of a mind to endorse the submission, we would then write to Vita Rail to confirm this as your position as a formal submission of council. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any questions to Director Walsh? Okay. Can I have a mover of this motion, please? Councillor Crook?
I move the motion as per business papers. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Can I have a seconder, please? Deputy Mayor, Councillor Kerr.
I second the motion as per the business papers.
Thank you. Councillor Crook, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just very quickly, I mean, we've spoken about Sunshine a lot. Since the state government has put the plans out for the Sunshine Super Hub, I've received so much feedback, and I wanted to thank the public for all their input. It just goes to show how passionate they are for the area that they live in. I've said this before and I'll say it again, you know, the state and federal government have allocated the funding here, but it's up to us to make sure that what's put in place is fit for our residents here. So I thank the officers for their hard work, consolidating all the feedback and putting it forward, putting it forward there. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Deputy Mayor, Councillor Kerr.
Thank you. Look, I just want to say this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to shape the future of Sunshine, and my view is it needs to be done properly. I have a few concerns about the current bus exchange design. It does not, in my opinion, go far enough to prioritise pedestrians for a major transport hub. People should come first, yet the design still leans really heavily towards vehicle movement. We are also, well, I'm pretty concerned about the safety. This precinct does carry large volumes of people every day, and the current plans, in my opinion, don't fully deliver the level of safe and accessible movement for our community needs. It's important how this integrates with the surrounding area. This project should really strengthen connections, support local businesses, and create a vibrant public space. Right now, those are opportunities I don't believe are being fully realised. If we get this wrong, we live with this for decades. But if we get it right, it transforms Sunshine. Look, this is a state government project and our community expects it to really reflect our local needs. We're not asking for more, we're just asking for a little bit better. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Okay. I put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. I move to 12.7, which is the governance report, April 26. I hand over to Director Hill.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Governance Report is a standing report to Council in accordance with best practice and good governance principles, and to ensure compliance with the requirements of the Local Government Act 2020, the Model Code of Conduct and the Councillor Support Policy. In the April Governance Report, Council is asked to note the record of informal meetings of councillors, delegates and representative reports, and councillor declarations of representations by members of Parliament. Council is also asked to consider adopting the S6 instrument of delegation, extending the Civil Works panel for contract for a further 1 year as per the initial contract condition, adopting the risk management policy and the risk management framework, amending the Community Grants Policy 2026, and noting correspondence that was sent last week by the Mayor to the State Government advocating for public and active transport access and services in response to the fuel crisis. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any questions by councillors to the Director? Can I have a mover, please, of the motion? Councillor Trung.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move I honour the spring. Thank you.
Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Nguyen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I second the motion as per the shared screen.
Councillor Trung, would you like to speak to the motion? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I thank you for the opportunity to speak today and to let on the public record the community experience has led me to raise this matter regarding free public transport. Why this is a statewide issue? Is the impact to fail very strongly at the local level. For many Brimbank residents, public transport is not option, but essential for to access work, education, healthcare, and stay in connection with family and community. Brimbank is one of the most diverse and multicultural municipality in Victoria. Our community includes seniors, students, new arrival communities, families, and people experience ongoing cost of living pressure. Many of whom rely heavy on public transport as their primary means of travel. Since the state government introduced the temporary furlough of free public transport, we have already seen how significant this incentive has been. In which the yield reflects a simple but important reality. When the public transport is affordable and accessible, people use it. I welcome the announcement that free public transport will continue until 1st of June, and also note that state government's decision that after 1st of June, fare will move to the half price, which is a positive step in supporting ongoing affordability in our community. I experienced this personal on Easter Sunday when I traveled by V-Line from Footscray to Bendigo to attend the Easter Festival. I was planned to catch 8:38 a.m. service, but due to overcrowding at Southern Road Station, we were advised that there are more than 800 passengers already on board and still over 400 passengers waiting at the Southern Road Station. The train were unable to stop at Footscray Station. Nearly 200 people at Footscray Station, families, seniors, and children were left waiting, and replacement costs had to be arranged later in the morning. A few days follow up that trip, I received few phone calls from the community member asking how to use the public transport and how to travel by on V-Line to Line Bendigo or Ballarat. Thus feedback reinforced that opportunity and accessibility don't just enrich the youth, they build the confidence, particularly for residents who may not regularly use public transport. This highlights two key points. First, reduce the fare, whatever fee or half price, support participation, inclusion, and stronger community connection. Second, enrich the demand, transport, and importance of service being opportunity, plan, and resource. I want to note the record that Ms. Orino to ensure the life experience on Brimbank residents were really conveyed at the state level. I welcome the commitment for the mayor on behalf of the council to write to the minister relating this community relationship, and I acknowledge the CEO role for the facilitating that correspondence. I also would like to add a brief local perspective from Brimbank. I know that state government announcement that free public transport had been extended until 1st of June followed by the half-price fare theatre, which is a positive step to support ongoing affordability. For Brimbank residents, public transport affordability play an important role in reaching employment, education, healthcare, and community activity, particularly during current cost of living pressure. Community feedback indicates increased use of public transport, increasing the service and research confidence in navigating the system when cost vary and reduce. As the transition to half-price fare approaches, this will be important. Thus, residents are well informed and task services are appropriately planned to meet demand. Thank you for the opportunity to share this community voice today. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Nguyen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I also want to speak to our response to the fuel crisis within this governance report. While I am proud of the direction we're taking through our integrated transport strategy, the current political and economic climate is exposing, through the current fuel crisis, something our community has known for a long time. My fellow councillors spoke on this earlier, but we are far too reliant on cars. And this is not by choice, this is by design. In Brimbank and across the Outer West, many residents don't have real transport options. They don't have the luxury of switching to frequent buses or reliable local connections when the fuel prices increase, because those options simply don't exist. And that's the crux of the issue. If there have been sustained investment in public transport and active transport infrastructure years ago, investment in safe walking, investment in safe cycling networks, and investment in buses, our communities would not be as vulnerable as they are today. We would already have the infrastructure. We would already have real alternatives, and our residents would not be bearing the impact of every fuel crisis each time. And I do want to take a moment to acknowledge the Victorian Government's recent announcement of the free public transport and half fares for the remainder of the year. That is welcome, and it will make a difference, but only for some. Because let's be honest here, free public transport only works where there is public transport, and if it works well. In areas like ours, where services are indirect, infrequent, unreliable, and simply unavailable, the benefit of a free or discounted service is limited. You cannot place a discount on a service that people can't realistically use. So this moment should be a wake-up call, because transport is not just about moving people along, it's about cost of living, equity, and access to opportunity. We need long-term structural investment, which means faster, frequent, and reliable bus networks, safe and connected walking and cycling infrastructure, and a transport system that actually meets the needs of outer metropolitan communities, so that every time there is a global crisis, our residents are not left exposed. This is not just a transport issue, it's about inequality. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to this report? Councillor Pham?
Through the chair, I just want to speak toward the internal committee that I've been attained, which is the Safety and Wellbeing Partnership Committee, if I could. So the reason why I speak to this is because we regularly have the Safety and Wellbeing Partnership Committee meeting. We also have hotspot updates and all that, but however, we have more than 20 police reduced in Brimbank, and it does not help because our hands are tied. How do we actually advocate for more police presence in Brimbank? Even though there's pros and cons that we have with this partnership committee, I want to update you with some of the information that I take out from that meeting as well, that we have colleague Ronnie Ewan from the Australian Drug Foundation that present to us about the local drug action team that possibility will be in Brimbank. We have about 60 of the LDAT in Victoria, and they can also fund a certain action program that community can apply for funding to run activity that's help to reduce like more for prevention. So mainly for young people and also other people that affected by drug and alcohol. And another thing that's also mentioned in that committee was the Clark Street revitalization. So recently, the government announced 7.5 million for Sunshine President upgrade, which directly relates to Clark Street, and I believe you, Madam Mayor, actually attend that announcement. So hopefully, with that revitalization, it will uplift the safety of Sunshine. If people have place to go to express what they need, and also services that from in Victoria that can go and offer their helping hands, like there are services to help them if, for example, if they affected by drug and alcohol, and also with the activation of art space, uh, it might help in that matter as well. Like we see a lot of negative things about safety in Brimbank lately, especially the hotspot in St. Albans and Sunshine that always been mentioned. But that I just want to bring out the possibility of uh, the positive thing that happening at the moment, so community can see that there's something going on, positively, not just think that they can just having the negative mind up, but hopefully we'll have a better way to advocate for more police arrests and improvement. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to this governance report? Okay, I put the report to the vote. All those in favour? Report carried. 12.8 is final draft community facilities capital contribution policy. I hand to Director Dumble.
Thank you, Mayor. This report is presented to Council to consider adoption of the final draft Community Facilities Capital Contribution Policy. The original Community Facilities Capital Development Policy was adopted in 2016 to clarify council and club responsibilities for community and sporting facility improvements. It has been regularly used mainly by sports clubs and has now been updated, including a gender impact assessment and minor improvements based on lessons learned. The draft policy was open for community consultation with Brimbank sports clubs, relevant state sporting associations and community groups and organisations who were all invited to make submissions. We received 6 written submissions that provided strong community support. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions to Director Dumble about this report? Do I have a mover for this report? Councillor Pham.
I move the report at the business paper. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the report? Councillor Nikolic.
Happy to second that report, Madam Mayor.
Great. Okay, Councillor Pham, would you like to speak to the report?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Nikolic, would you like to speak to the report?
No, thank you.
Would anyone like to speak to the report? I put the report to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. 12.9, final draft community services and infrastructure plan. I hand over to Director Dumble.
Thank you, Mayor. This report is presented to Council to consider adopting the final draft Community Services and Infrastructure Plan. The plan sets out Council's evidence-based approach to planning and delivering community services and infrastructure. It outlines Council's role in planning, developing and maintaining community facilities. It summarises what infrastructure we currently have and what we will need in each district in the short, medium and long term. It guides decisions on future projects, funding, advocacy and partnership. Council received 8 written submissions during the consultation period, and overall this reflected community support.
Thank you. Are there any questions to Director Dumble? Do I have a mover for this report, please? Councillor Rusage?
I move this report as per shared screen. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bausch?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I second the report as per shared screen.
Thank you. Councillor Rusage, would you like to speak to the
No,
report?
thank you.
Councillor Bausch, would you like to speak to the report?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Would anyone like to speak to this report? Okay. I put the report to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. 12.10, Final Draft Community Facilities Hire Licenses Leases Agreement Policy Update. I hand over to Director Dumble.
Thank you, Mayor. This report is presented to Council to consider adopting the final draft Community Facilities Hire, Licenses and Leases Agreement Policy. This policy sets out how the community can access Council's community facilities for hire, including halls and meeting rooms, neighbourhood houses and community centres, Brimbank Learning Futures, St Albans Community Centre and other community wellbeing managed facilities. The policy ensures fair and equitable access of community facilities to community groups and residents within Brimbank. Council received 8 written submissions during the consultation period, and overall this reflected community support. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions to the Director regarding this report? Do I have a mover for this report? Deputy Mayor Councillor Kerr?
I move the report as per the papers on the screen.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Farm?
I second the report at purpose in the paper. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the mover, Deputy Mayor, like to speak to the report?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Farm, would you like to speak to the report?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone like to speak to the report? I put the report to the vote. All those in favour? Report carried. 12.11 is contract number 26/3647, Local Intelligence Enterprise. I hand over to Director Marcelo.
Thank you, Mayor. The purpose of this report is to seek Council's approval to award the contract for the Location Intelligence Enterprise software to Esri Australia for an initial term of 3 years for the lump sum price of $2,119,180, with the option to extend for a further 2 one-year periods. It also seeks the approval of Council to assign the Chief Executive Officer the delegated authority to approve the contract extensions options and the expenditure. And finally, note that the approved amounts are within the operational budget of Connected Brimbank.
Thank you. Are there any questions to the Director, councillors? Okay, can I have a mover for this report? Councillor Farm?
I move the report at purpose in the paper. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Trung?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the second more on the screen. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Farm, would you like to speak in favour of this report?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a brief, I quite in support of this report because I think is that technology play a very important role this day in terms of working and getting the result sufficiently. And I hope this with this amount of spending toward this software will help Brimbank to work better in the future and get more outcome in terms of all the planning or any other issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Chung, would you like to speak to this report?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Would anyone else like to speak to the report? I put the report to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. We move to 12.12, contract number 24/3502, Dempster Park construction of Children's and Community Centre. I hand over to Director Levers.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report recommends Council award a contract for construction of the Dempster Park Children's and Community Centre to SJ Higgins. This is a significant project for Council and will deliver a 66-place licensed kindergarten, 2 maternal and child health rooms, a family-oriented space and a district-scale community hall. The project will also deliver a 5-star Green Star building, which will offer exceptional amenity and sustainable performance. It's a major project and has been made possible with a contribution from state government through the Department of Education for approximately $5.9 million contribution from them. The project's been put to competitive tender, and having assessed all responses against a predetermined criteria, officers recommend SJ Higgins as providing the best value for money. I recommend this to Council.
Thank you. Are there any questions to the Director? Can I have a mover, please, for the motion? Councillor Pham. Can I have a seconder for the motion?
I move the motion per business paper. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Nikolic.
I second the motion.
Thank you. Councillor Pham, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, just a brief through you, Madam Mayor. I'm so glad this Dempster Park project construction actually coming to life. Remember to actually go here for my first term and revisiting again on this term, and see the some of the part of the Dempster Park actually unsafe to be occupied anymore. And with this construction that going forward, I think you just bring new life to not all age of user that being there from the, kindergarten, very young, or newborn, whatever, and the scale to the sport club that being there. I think this is a significant project that, come to real life and affects a lot of user that being that location. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the seconder like to speak? Thank you.
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? I'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Motion carried. Final item, 12.13, contract number 26/3695 Traffic Control Services. I hand over to Director Levers.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report recommends Council award a contract to two contractors as part of a panel of contracts for traffic control services for an initial period of 5 years with an option for 2 one-year extensions. Following a competitive tender process, advanced traffic management and all traffic management services have been identified as offering the best value to Council. Should Council endorse the officer recommendation, these contractors would form a panel which officers could seek quotes from. So as a schedule of rates contract, no work or value of work is guaranteed, and this provides the best opportunity for Council to ensure value for money. I commend the report to Council.
Thank you. Are there any questions to the Director? Could I have a mover for this motion, please? Deputy Mayor, Councillor Kerr.
I move the motion as per the business papers.
Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Pham.
I second the report business paper. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor, would you like to speak towards this motion?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Pham, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Would anyone like to speak to the motion? I put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, motion is carried. Okay, there are no notices of motion tonight. Item 14, notices of rescission. There are no notices of rescission. Item 15, urgent business. CEO, are there any urgent business items?
There is no urgent business. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Item 16, confidential business. There is no item of confidential business. That brings us to the conclusion of tonight's meeting. I declare the meeting closed at 8:19 p.m. Thank you to everyone who is currently viewing the live stream of this meeting. Thank you to everyone attending and your interest in tonight's meeting. I instruct Channel 31 to stop live streaming this meeting. Thank you.